This week on The Splash, we learn what parents want to know about teen drug use. Then, we support a good cause with West Bloomfield Rotary. And later, we get the state of our 4 communities. The Splash is a production of Civic Center TV. We're a news magazine that covers everything from local news to feature stories, all so that we can bring you the latest from the greater West Bloomfield area. And now, let's dive into The Splash.
Welcome to The Splash. I'm Brooke Allen. Thank you for being with us. The prevalence and uses of substance abuse among our teen population is constantly changing, leaving parents wondering how to combat the issues of substance use and abuse with their children. Recently, a seminar was held at the Jewish Community Center to help parents bridge this gap. Reporter Lawrence Nyland has the story.
Educating parents on drugs was the goal of a symposium held at the Teen Center at the Jewish Community Center in West Bloomfield.
There is a lot of things parents are naive about, and the problem is they don't know what they don't know. So when they come here, they do find out. It's like, oh, that's what that is, or oh, I didn't know about that, or a new term or a new behavior, just something that they might glean that helps them. And that's our goal, to help parents empower them to help their kids.
With the legalization of marijuana being a hot-button issue today, the question of it being a gateway drug is a topic of interest.
In terms of marijuana, anything can be a gateway drug because it's not really the drug itself, it's the behaviors that someone acquires from using substances, whether it's alcohol, marijuana, or anything else. If they start engaging in activities where that's what they're doing every weekend, or that's all they do with their friends, then that can lead to other drug use as well.
The opioid epidemic that permeates the United States today is especially concerning as it can often begin with just a simple legal prescription for pain medication.
The opioid issue is an issue in part because prescription medications have been around and freely prescribed for so long, and there's multi-factors related to that, from the pharmaceutical companies to the miseducation of physicians to patients' needs. And it's an easy step up to go from prescription opioid medication into the heroin usage because heroin's actually cheaper than trying to get a prescription if a physician won't prescribe you one.
Drugs and their consequences have been an issue for young people for decades, but today's parents battle an obstacle that previous generations did not.
I think social media has really had a big impact on kids in a variety of ways, both good and bad. And I think one of the struggles is that kids feel this constant pressure of being liked, of having their posts liked, their messages liked, their photos liked. And research has shown that every time they get a like, there's an endorphin boost in the brain. So now it's starting to become like a drug. And then in the process, when their friends aren't liking that or they're not having a good post, then they can become depressed, which can lead to deciding to use drugs to deal with that depression.
Reporting for The Splash, this is Lawrence Nyland.
To find out more, you can visit civiccentertv.com/drugs101. The Rotary Club of West Bloomfield recently held a tasty fundraiser in the township in support of local students, and we had reporter Tyler Kieft on hand to enjoy the fun in support of a good cause.
Well, right back here, there's been a lot of food, music, and fun, all in support of striving students right here in greater West Bloomfield. The Rotary Club of West Bloomfield recently held its Pasta with a Purpose fundraiser, inviting the community out for a fun night of fellowship and a whole lot of pasta in an effort to live up to its motto of service above self.
What we try to do is give back to our communities and actually to the world. We have international projects and we have local projects that we work on, this being one of our local projects that benefits the community.
The goal of the festivities was to raise funds for the Rotary Club's Strive Scholarship, funds that support local students by fostering a culture of taking pride in their education and working toward achieving higher learning, preparing them for great studies and great careers.
This is for our youth project, so it supports our Strive scholarships. Strive is, we do our scholarships a little differently than most scholarship opportunities. We look at kids who are struggling and are in the lower third of their class, and we select each year 2 to 3 students who we work with. We select them in their junior years, and we work with them for a year and a half, just giving them support and recognition. The monetary part of it is small, but they earn their dollars through maintaining or improving their GPA in their last half of their junior year and their senior year. So they can earn $500 a semester toward whatever school they are going to. That could be a trade school, vocational school, 2 or 4-year college.
The club's ongoing relationship with Greater West Bloomfield students fosters not only a culture of higher learning, but a culture of service as well, as West Bloomfield Rotary inspires and supports West Bloomfield High School's Interact Club in its community service efforts, including a recent project in benefit of animals.
Interact Club is kind of like a mini Rotary club. We basically do events around the community and try to make the community a better place. Like now we're raising money for an animal shelter, Almost Home Animal Shelter in Southfield, and we're trying to get them. They're also a no-kill animal shelter, so we can get stuff for like collars for the dogs that are over there.
I see this as a way to, make positive change in just as many ways as possible, and I really like all the different organizations that we've been able to help.
Supporting a culture of learning and service is the greatest pride of the Rotary Club of West Bloomfield, making its scholarships such as Strive mean much more than writing a check. Just as always, a great showing of support for our local students from the Rotary Club of West Bloomfield. At Shepherd King Lutheran Church, I'm Tyler Kieft, reporting for The Splash.
For more information, feel free to stop by our website at civiccentertv.com/pasta with a purpose. Coming up, we learn the state of our communities and then another episode of Sidewalk Talk.
Don't go away. You're watching The Splash on Civic Center TV. And now, back to The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Welcome back to The Splash. Thank you for being with us. I'm Brooke Allen. The Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission and Civic Center TV recently held the first annual State of the Communities at Abbott Middle School, inviting the 3 cities and 1 township in our community to learn about the past, present, and future of our 4 communities. Each municipality's leader, as well as the chief of the West Bloomfield Fire Department, had a chance to speak to Greater West Bloomfield, detailing the accomplishments of each individual community and creating a connection to its neighbors. In the process, Greater West Bloomfield was able to better understand where each of our 4 communities is and where they're going. More profoundly, the event served as an opportunity to witness the amazing things that our community can accomplish when we work together to better each other, inspire each other, and create change that moves the cities of Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake Village, and West Bloomfield Township forward together. And to watch the State of the Communities on demand, visit civiccentertv.com/2019 State of the Communities. And now it's time for Sidewalk Talk, where reporter Patrick Malcolmurray asked the people of Greater West Bloomfield about their experiences on the job.
The worst job I ever had was shoveling raw sewage out of a newly constructed home, which I only lasted 1 day. What's the worst job that you've ever had?
Probably like landscaping and different chores around the house.
Why is that?
Just because it's really exhausting and tiring. Yeah.
I do commercial industrial heating and cooling, probably being stuck down in a sewage pump area having to work on a motor.
Oh, that sounds rough.
Yes.
How long did it take you to do it?
It was a good 8 hours.
I think being a medical resident, just having to stay up all night, being on call, having to we had some very unsavory tasks that we had to do that were, I don't know how in detail we want to go, but...
Probably chores.
Yeah? What's your least favorite chore?
Probably all of them.
I didn't like chores when I was growing up either. What is the worst job that you've ever had?
One summer, I was a pool snack bar supervisor, and I had my best friend Karen and my sister work with me, and I was the boss. Let's put it this way. That summer, we never did anything off entertainment-wise. We never saw a movie together with my sister and my best friend. Working with them all day in this pool snack bar was more than enough.
That's usually how it goes. When you see them at work, you do not want to see them after work.
Yes, that was the one summer. So I'd have to say that was the worst job.
Working at Waterford schools when I was 15 years old, I just had to do a bunch of manual labor. They paid me well, but it just sucked. I had to break up concrete, weed whip, just do all the dirty work that the other janitors didn't want to do. But they paid me well, so that was at least a perk of it. But it was 8 hours of manual labor at 15 years old, and it was rough.
I mean, better than cleaning the toilets.
Yeah, I didn't have to do that, but I had to break up old parking lots and different stuff, and weed whip parking lots, and get beat up with rocks and stung by bees. It was a summer of fun.
A busboy in one of those greasy diners. It just never stopped. Started at 6, they gave you lunch at 8 a.m., and then you went till noon when you're working part-time at 15 years old.
What was the hourly?
Oh, back then, $2.50, $3 an hour.
That was a steal.
Yeah, for them.
I'm Patrick McElmurray. Join us next week for another episode of Sidewalk Talk.
For more episodes of Sidewalk Talk on Demand, visit civiccentertv.com/Sidewalk Talk. And now it's time for the Civic Center TV event update, where we provide you with upcoming events around Greater West Bloomfield. And for more events coming up, make sure to visit civiccentertv.com/events. Let's Talk, an ESL discussion group, Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. Anyone learning English or who wants to improve their skills is welcome during this English language discussion group. A tutor from the Oakland Literacy Council will facilitate the conversation and help all who attend become stronger with their English language skills. You can feel free to drop in for all or part of the sessions. For more information, call 248-232-2290 or visit wblib.org. Join West Bloomfield Parks for a night at the aquarium, March 21st at 6:30 p.m. at the Recreation Activity Center. West Bloomfield Parks has reserved the aquarium for a very limited private experience for our residents. Enjoy coach transportation into the city and onto Belle Isle. The coach bus will stop a few times, and tour guides will highlight rare known facts about the Isle. Then guests will indulge in a strolling dinner with a cash bar available while taking in America's oldest aquarium and its fine exhibits. Another highlight will be the Detroit-Windsor skyline, as the timing of this event will allow for day and nighttime sights of the spectacular riverfront. This is a 21 and over event. To register, please visit wbparks.org. On Saturday, March 23rd, visit the Recreation Activity Center for a summer camp sneak peek from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Bring your kids to enjoy games, crafts, face painting, tattoos, and more. Free refreshments will be available, and attendees will be entered into a raffle to win one free week of camp. For more information, visit wbparks.org. Read to a Dog, March 24th from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. at the West Bloomfield Library. What happens when you bring children, dogs, and books together? You get happy, confident children who love to read. Trainers with their well-behaved certified therapy dogs will be on hand so elementary students can practice independent reading skills while reading to a friendly canine companion. No registration is required. If you are interested in having your certified therapy dog participate in the program, please call the Youth Services Department at 248-232-2250 to learn about eligibility requirements and also the application process. For more information, visit wblib.org. Come out to the West Bloomfield Township Public Library to learn about the 1818 expedition to Oakland County with the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society on March 24th at 2 p.m. In 1818, a group of men traveled northwesterly from Detroit to confirm or dispel reports that Oakland County was a swampland unworthy of settlement. Hear why this expedition took place, how they named our lakes, and what they reported. The seminar will be presented by John Marshall, an 1818 Expedition into Oakland County committee member. For more information, visit gwbhs.org. Sit to Stay Fit exercise class Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 12 noon at Spirit of Grace Church in West Bloomfield. Help your mind, body, and spirit and improve your strength and balance in this fun exercise class for people of all ages. It costs $4 to attend each class. You can learn more by calling 248-682-0770 or by visiting spiritdrivenchurch.org. The Chaldean Cultural Center open hours Fridays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Chaldean Cultural Center and Shenandoah Country Club. Learn about the history, traditions, and culture of the Chaldean people. $5 for a self-guided tour, $10 for a guided tour. You can schedule a tour and find more information at chaldeanculturalcenter.org. And that's this week's highlights. You can find more events online at civiccentertv.com/events and see everything going on in the greater West Bloomfield area. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll be speaking with West Bloomfield resident and licensed lending officer, Chanel Shaba.
Don't go away. You're watching The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Civic Center TV is your home for everything greater West Bloomfield. Here you can tune into community programming such as our weekly news magazine show, The Splash, as well as coverage of local events and meetings in Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, and West Bloomfield. You can also watch all of your local programming online anytime at civiccentertv.com. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
For every meeting of the West Bloomfield Township Board, join Civic Center TV for a brand new show called West Bloomfield Township Board All Access, airing at 5:30 p.m. Our team will review how to access meeting agendas, go over the key issues on that night's agenda, and talk to township officials about projects happening right here in your hometown. It all happens live at 5:30 p.m. before every meeting of the West Bloomfield Township Board on Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD, the all-new Lakes FM.
And now, back to The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Welcome back. We are joined by West Bloomfield resident, lifelong West Bloomfield resident, and licensed lending officer Chanel Shaba. And thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
So you are a lifelong resident of West Bloomfield.
Yes, ma'am.
But your company that you work for is
we are new.
Yes.
Yeah, we are new to Michigan. We've been here for about 3 years. We are headquartered out in California. So we branched out here to pretty much take over the East Coast, which is nice, and we are growing.
Okay, so tell us about the market right now and just really about lending in general.
So the market right now is actually, it's at an all-time, it's at a great spot in regard to rates. Rates are a lot lower now than they were, a year ago or even 2 years ago. A lot of people are now recovering from the recession that was going on about 8 to 9 years ago as well. It's very strong, it's fun, it's flourishing. I tell a lot of my clients this is probably the best time to tap into any equity because your home values are sky high right now.
So refinancing,
absolutely.
This is a good time to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Great time to consolidate. Also, it's an awesome time to consider selling if you do want to downsize. It's also a great time to consider buying if you're looking at growing your family or maybe changing schools, or also just relocating in general. This is a great time to do it.
So you often hear the phrases, oh, it's a seller's market, it's a buyer's market. What market are we in right now?
We are in a seller's market.
Oh, okay.
We are, but they're about to start meeting right in the middle.
Okay.
Mainly because a lot of sellers, they want to get as much as they can out of their home. It's their baby. They think their home is worth everything.
It's the biggest investment.
Right. So, but at the same time, the market at some point is going to also come down. So we are hitting that point right now where you do see a lot of homes start to go down in sale price, but they're still getting multiple offers. You're not seeing that many clients who are purchasing above asking price now.
Because you were a couple years ago.
Yes.
It was crazy.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if somebody wants to sell their home in West Bloomfield, they're going to get pretty much what they're asking, do you think? Or is it hard to say?
West Bloomfield's a great market. A lot of the homes in West Bloomfield, again, are gaining value because of a lot of the new builds in West Bloomfield. Also, a lot of the remodel work that happens in West Bloomfield. We have a lot of homes that have, done their home improvements. It is a good time for, again, those to tap into equity, do their home remodels, and then consider selling in the next 2 to 5 years.
To get their money back.
Exactly. You don't want to sell your home where, your kitchen may be 15 to 20 years old.
Right.
You want to invest in it. Exactly. You want to invest in it a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then know that you will get your money's worth once you do want to put it on the market again.
Okay, so everyone knows that buying a home, selling a home, daunting process.
Absolutely.
So the biggest thing is the money aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So do tell us a little bit about your company.
So LoanDepot is the second largest lender in the U.S. We are a direct lender, so we only do mortgage financing on homes. We do residential properties in all 50 states. We do purchase products where you don't have to have anything down. We also do purchase products where you can, bring 75% down. We also do the refinances too. But mainly, we want to make sure that our process is very smooth, it's very streamlined, it's very easy, it's already daunting, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to make sure that our clients are comfortable. We also want to make sure that they're trusting of us. And we, as a company, have... I tell my clients that there are 3 things that you'll get from LoanDepot. First and foremost, we have a lifetime guarantee on all of our products. What does that mean? It means that you can come back to me at any time and you can refinance your home or purchase another home and you will not have to pay closing costs again.
Really?
Yes.
That's unusual.
Exactly. So no company can touch that. And we do that because we want to retain our clients. We want them to come back. We want them to go tell their neighbor. We want them to go refer out as well. Aside from that, the second thing, you have your personalized service. Your information doesn't go from hand to hand. It strictly stays with myself, my processor, and my underwriter. We work as a team of 3, and that's it. And then lastly, you get to be backed up by a very large company that services their products too. So we don't sell your loan off to, ABC Bank after 2 months.
So it will stay with LoanDepot.
Correct.
And that's unusual too, to some degree.
Right. So
how often do you buy a home and then 2 months later you're like getting a coupon book from someone else?
Right. And you're just like, wait, what happened? What happened to my company? What happened to my banker?
Right.
And unfortunately we are a direct lender where I do everything over the phone. But the good thing is that you can always call me even if it's after a year. I call my clients every year and they say, hey, what's up? Any changes in your life? How is that payment working for you? Do you want to tap into equity? Do you want to consider, maybe going into a shorter term or a longer term? Like, talk to me about it. And most clients are either comfortable or they do need a change.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the issues that face people who are looking to buy a new home or sell or looking to refinance. That paperwork is daunting. Sometimes you may come across somebody who you think is in the business and maybe not in the business.
Right.
So let's talk about that for a minute.
So credit is a very big thing in regard to buying a home or in regard to getting any sort of lending. When you go to Credit Karma or you go to Credit Wise, that is not your credit score.
Oh, really?
That is
See,
something.
so people are going, I have Credit Karma.
Yeah, I have Credit Karma and I have a 720. Great. That's a Vantage score. It's a sample score. That's why it's free. It's an idea based on what Credit Karma can gather about you on what they think that your score may be.
So it's not a deep dive.
Correct. So when you actually do an actual credit application, you actually have 45 days to shop around for credit, to shop around for lending, and that is with a mortgage lender only. So you don't start shopping for a loan or getting pre-approved for a home and then also go shop for cars because those cars are going to ding you.
Okay.
But when let's say today you start shopping for a pre-approval, you have 45 days to shop, your credit will not be hit. But if you continue to shop after that 45 days, you will get knocked down.
Okay,
so you want to be very careful about that.
So you have the 45 days. How you can check as many lenders as you want?
Absolutely. You can go
Do you have to call someone and say, okay, I'm going to be doing this?
No. So once the trigger has been made through, for instance, Chase Bank, then I get on the phone with you, and if I check your credit, I will be giving you the same exact FICO scores that lender had given you, and so forth. You should have that same score to last you.
So it should not change?
No, it should not change.
Okay.
Once you acquire the mortgage, all those other inquiries will come off because you're only going to keep that inquiry that you got the loan from, and then everybody else will go away. So that's why it's not supposed to ding you, because it's unfair. It's an unfair practice to have someone, start their search with one bank, and then maybe their rates weren't that good, or maybe they weren't happy and they didn't feel comfortable, and then they're forced to go there because they think, crap, I'm at a 720, and if I go check my credit tomorrow, I'm going to be at a 719 or like a 715, and I don't want to do that. So people feel pressured that they have to stay with the first company that they go with, and that's definitely not the case. But you have that 45-day window to shop. Use it. I tell all my clients, please shop me, because if you shop me and there is somebody better out there, for your own benefit, you do need to go there. If there's someone who could do better than I can, which in most cases they can't, but if there is someone, who can do better than I can, let me know. And I best wishes. I want you to do better for yourself. I'm not in the game to take advantage of you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the biggest question, how can people reach you?
So I am available on my work line, of course, as well as cell phone. So you can reach me at 949-639-3103. You can also log on to LoanDepot.com. You can search for my name. It's Chanel Shaba, and you can get in contact with me. If for any reason you don't want to work with me, but you want to work with LoanDepot, everybody is held to the same standard. And we all deliver great service. So we do have local locations as well, none in Michigan yet, aside from our Southfield office. But we do have local locations countrywide that you guys can walk into and see someone face-to-face and apply face-to-face as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. It was a pleasure to meet you, and I recognize that area code.
Yes. Thank you.
Again, we've been joined by West Bloomfield resident, lifelong West Bloomfield resident, and licensed lending officer Chanel Shaba. And now it's time for a new episode of Minute with Nature, where West Bloomfield Park's naturalist Lauren Azuri explores native plants.
Hello and welcome to Minute with Nature. I'm your host, Lauren Azuri, the park naturalist for West Bloomfield Parks. And today we're here inside our nature room talking about native plants and why you might want to plant some native plants in your garden as well. Well, what is a native plant? A native plant is a plant that has evolved here in our area, and it's adapted to the climate and soil here. A native plant has grown in Michigan, or their native area, for hundreds of thousands of years, so have developed ecological relationships with the animals in our area as well. Why would you want to plant native plants in your yard? Well, there's lots of reasons, but one is convenience. Native plants grow better in Michigan. They don't require fertilizer or pesticides, as well as less watering. Since they're from here and they're used to the conditions here, you don't need to add as much water or fertilizer to the soil that they're growing in your garden, so they're lower maintenance. 90% of all leaf-eating insects can only eat native plants, which means that it's super important for us to provide food sources for them. If we plant non-natives tropical plants, they have no ecological value and animals will not use them at all. Monarchs is the best example of this that many people already are familiar with. Monarchs love milkweed, and their milkweed is the only plant that a monarch caterpillar will eat, and is also the only plant that monarch adults will lay their eggs on. Butterflies are beautiful to view, but butterflies are also pollinators. So pollinators obviously help our world and bring us a lot of the food that we eat. I bet you're wondering maybe now where you can buy native plants from. We don't really recommend that you go to a commercial greenhouse for them. A lot of commercial greenhouses have hybrids of native plants, or they're the same species of a plant that might grow here, but they didn't come from Michigan originally. So you really would ideally love a native plant that was grown in Michigan and the seeds started in Michigan. So look for a local native grower. Here at West Bloomfield Parks, we partner with a native grower and offer a native plant sale in May. So you can visit us there for a great source of buying native plants as well. You can also go to the Audubon website, and they have a great map where you can list your zip code and get native plant ideas for our area. Here in Michigan, some great, beautiful flowers that you'll enjoy in your garden, and so will all those pollinators like butterflies, are asters, coneflowers, milkweed, and black-eyed Susans. So I hope you plant some natives, attract some wildlife for you to view, but also help your environment. And that's your Minute with Nature.
For more episodes of A Minute with Nature, visit civiccentertv.com/MWN. And now it's time for our final segment, Person of the Week, people in the community inspiring and providing toward others. This week's recipient is Dr. Darren Lubers, data analyst and alum of West Bloomfield High School. Dr. Lubers has over 20 years of experience in community mental health as well as substance use analysis and prevention. Passionate about preventing the dangers of substance abuse, addiction, and mental health crises in teens and youth, Dr. Lubers has made a career researching community substance use trends and helping organizations, school districts, and prevention groups combat these crises community to community. Recently, Dr. Lubers brought his expertise home, helping the greater West Bloomfield community and others not only learn the statistics about mental health and substance abuse among our students, but provide insight on how to continue to make progress in prevention, providing analysis on the effectiveness of our current prevention methods, as well as ideas for improved prevention in the future. Helping communities prevent mental health and substance use crisis is near and dear to Dr. Lubers' heart, which is why he is our Person of the Week. And if you know someone who's making a positive difference, let us know. Send an email to thesplash@civiccentertv.com. We want to congratulate and acknowledge those making a difference in our community, and we appreciate your suggestions. That's it for this week's show. You can watch new episodes Mondays at 5:30 p.m., civiccentertv.com on Comcast 15, AT&T 99, and online in HD at civiccentertv.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Civic Center TV. And for more Metro Detroit news, you can listen to me and Greg Bowman weekdays from 2 to 7 p.m. on WWJ Newsradio 950. And for all our friends in Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, Keego Harbor, and West Bloomfield, I'm Brooke Allen. Thank you for watching The Splash.